Day 5 dawns with steady rain falling over the Yellow Tribe's beach, casting a gray haze over the jungle and dampening everyone's spirits. The once cheerful shelter is now soggy and cramped, forcing the tribe to huddle together for warmth and cover. Despite the miserable weather, the storm brings a new kind of clarity and tension. Karen is particularly irritated by the rain interfering with her systems, occasionally glitching and sparking as water drips through the shelter's patchy roof. Still, she uses the downtime to subtly observe the tribe's dynamics. She notices Velma and Jerry growing closer, bonding over their analytical minds and mutual desire for a long-term plan. The two begin floating the idea of targeting Shego, seeing her strength and independence as a long-term threat. Meanwhile, Shego, restless and dripping wet, begins pacing and mumbling about how pathetic the conditions are. She vents to him, who encourages her rage, subtly pushing her toward becoming more confrontational, a move that could isolate her further. Tommy, on the other hand, remains cheerful despite the rain, winning a few hearts with his resilience and makeshift banana leaf rain hat. Unbeknownst to the others, him takes advantage of a break in the downpour to slink into the jungle. His goal? Search for the hidden immunity idol. Though he doesn't find it today, he grows more suspicious that someone else might have it, possibly Karen, whose aloofness and calculating nature raise red flags. As the rain continues into the evening, the tribe is physically worn but mentally engaged. Alliances are slowly taking shape. Velma and Jerry quietly strategize, Karen keeps her distance, Tommy stays likable, Shego simmers, and him plots. The storm may have dampened their shelter, but it has sparked the fire of paranoia and gameplay. Rain blankets the Blue Tribe's camp as Day 5 begins, drenching everything and everyone. The once energetic tribe now sits huddled under their leaky shelter, trying to stay warm and dry. Spirits are low, but the game doesn't stop for bad weather. Francine does her best to boost morale with jokes and makeshift games, but her assertiveness is starting to grate on a few nerves. Tigger, ever the optimist, bounces around splashing through puddles, amusing some but annoying others, particularly Ursula, who quietly sieves under her makeshift hood, already wet, cold, and irritated. Lois takes charge of organizing a shelter improvement effort with Shang, showing surprising leadership and practical skill. Shang begins to see Lois as a valuable long-term ally, and the two share a quiet chat under the palm fronds, subtly beginning to form a bond. Together, they voice mutual wariness about King Boo, whose mysterious nature makes him difficult to trust. Unbeknownst to them, King Boo is playing a far more confident game than they realize. Several days prior, under the cover of darkness, he found the hidden immunity idol buried near a twisted tree root deep in the jungle. He's told no one. Today, he vanishes for stretches at a time, not to search for the idol, but to keep the act up, throwing off suspicion. His eerie, unpredictable presence is becoming more of a concern for the others. Ursula, picking up on this, floats the idea to Francine and Shang that King Boo might already have the idol. The seed of doubt is planted. As night falls and the rain continues, the tribe grows weary. Still, behind the scenes, lines are being drawn. Lois and Shang have a budding alliance. Ursula is maneuvering. Francine is growing bold. And King Boo? He's smiling in the shadows, idol safely in hand. Rain pours over the Purple Tribe's camp as Day 5 begins, casting a gray gloom over a tribe already shaken by 2 consecutive tribal councils. With just 4 members remaining, Muriel, Chica, Mufasa, and Cosmo, the dynamic is tense, intimate, and increasingly fragile. Their fire is out, the shelter soggy, and no one is in a particularly cheerful mood. Cosmo, ever the goofball, tries to lift spirits by turning banana leaves into hats and splashing in puddles, but his carefree antics do little to help the group's morale. Mufasa, patient yet quietly growing wary, watches from the shelter. His royal demeanor keeps him above the fray, but he knows the game is shifting fast. He was left out of the last vote, and he may be next if he doesn't act soon. Muriel remains the emotional anchor of the group, calming tensions and offering support. Despite the storm, she hums softly while wringing water from their meager supplies, her nurturing nature endearing her to everyone, but especially Chica. Unknown to the others, Chica is in the strongest position, holding a hidden immunity idol and sharing a tight alliance with Muriel. She plays things cool today, helping around camp and avoiding conflict, but her mind is spinning with possibilities. With only 4 players left, she's calculating whether it's time to take a shot at Mufasa, who remains strong and respected, or Cosmo, whose unpredictability could become dangerous. Strategizing is mostly silent under the rain. Muriel and Chica share hushed conversations when the others are distracted, reaffirming their bond and discussing next steps. Mufasa senses the closeness but isn't sure how deep it runs. Cosmo, meanwhile, remains blissfully unaware of the game around him. As the cold rain continues to fall, the purple tribe feels more isolated than ever, each player quietly wondering how much longer they can survive. The sun rises bright and clear on day 6, drying the soaked beaches and re-energizing the castaways as they arrive at the challenge arena. Jeff Probst welcomes them with the announcement of their third tribal immunity challenge, and the stakes are as high as ever. Only the first 2 tribes to finish will be safe. One tribe will head to tribal council and vote someone out tonight. Each tribe must choose 2 runners to race a grueling 1-mile course and deliver a bag of puzzle tiles. The remaining 2 tribe members will solve a large word puzzle spelling out a phrase relating to Survivor. Yellow and Blue, still with 6 members each, must sit out 2 castaways apiece. Yellow tribe sits out Tommy and Karen, hoping to maximize both physical and puzzle prowess. Shego and Velma are chosen to run, with him and Jerry set to handle the puzzle. Blue tribe benches Ursula and Tigger, sending Francine and Shang to run, while King Boo and Lois take the puzzle. Purple tribe, now down to 4 members, has no choice. Mufasa and Cosmo run, while Muriel and Chica tackle the puzzle. Jeff signals the start, and the 6 runners take off down the track. Shego and Shang shoot out front with lightning speed, both pushing hard to gain an early lead. Velma keeps a steady, calculated pace, while Francine falls slightly behind, winded by the halfway point. Mufasa, powerful but slower, lumbers steadily through the course. Cosmo, predictably distracted, veers off track briefly to chase a butterfly, drawing frustrated yells from Muriel and Chica. Shego is the first to reach the end of the course. Shang follows close behind, making up time for Blue. Velma arrives and delivers the puzzle bag, giving Yellow a strong lead as both runners return to the mat. Shang and Francine tag in King Boo and Lois for Blue, just as Velma finishes and Yellow begins their puzzle phase. Purple finally gets both runners through the course, Cosmo fumbling with the bag, but they're far behind as Muriel and Chica begin assembling their tiles. At the puzzle tables, him and Jerry click into rhythm. Him uses his creativity to push unique solutions, while Jerry's spy training aids his organization. Lois, on the other hand, keeps her team grounded as King Boo eerily floats tiles into place with supernatural calm. Chica surprises Muriel by taking charge of the puzzle, carefully scanning for patterns and sorting letters quickly. Muriel supports patiently, contributing clever observations. Despite their delay, they start gaining ground on the other tribes. In the final moments, Yellow tribe locks in their answer, "No voting for you tonight," and Jeff checks. Correct. Yellow wins immunity. It's a neck-and-neck race between Blue and Purple. With only seconds to spare, King Boo places the final tile, and Jeff confirms, Blue tribe wins immunity. Purple tribe loses again, and they're headed to tribal council for the 3rd time in a row. The 3 tribes return to camp, the Purple tribe dejected following their 3rd challenge loss in a row. Back at camp after their 3rd consecutive immunity first place, the Yellow tribe is glowing with confidence. Spirits are high as Shego and Velma receive praise for their performance, while him quietly basks in the satisfaction of puzzle success. Jerry takes the opportunity to reinforce his connections, subtly checking in with both Velma and Karen about the game ahead. Karen, meanwhile, continues scanning for patterns in behavior, still suspicious of him's motivations but saying little. Tommy, sidelined in this challenge, feels increasingly restless and tries to prove his worth by crafting tools and gathering coconuts, which earns smiles, but not strategic trust. As the group lounges around a newly repaired fire pit, talks shift from gameplay to stories of past adventures, giving them a moment of bonding. Despite the peace, subtle undercurrents remain. Everyone knows the game is only just beginning, and the tribe's harmony could fracture the moment they lose. After their victory in the immunity challenge, the Blue tribe returns to camp damp but triumphant. Francine and Shang bond over their shared determination in the challenge, maintaining their image of being a strong physical duo. Lois earns respect for staying calm under pressure during the puzzle phase, solidifying her status as a reliable presence in the tribe. King Boo, though eerily quiet, remains an enigma. His puzzle skills didn't go unnoticed, and Ursula in particular still views him as an ally, someone who understands subtle manipulation. Unknown to the rest of the tribe, King Boo secretly possesses the hidden immunity idol, which he found back on day 3. He hides it deep within the jungle under a pile of rotted wood, feeling secure but cautious. Tigger, not thinking about gameplay, tries to boost morale but notices he's drifting from the tribe's core. He ignores the feelings he has of being left out, and continues trying to make the tribe smile. As night falls, strategic conversations continue quietly, unaware a powerful secret lies just beneath the surface. The mood at the Purple Tribe camp is somber following their 3rd challenge loss in 6 days. The momentum of defeat weighs heavily as Chica, Muriel, Mufasa, and Cosmo trudge back from the challenge site, their silhouettes long in the afternoon sun. The puzzle was fine, but the physical portion stalled them again. And while they had improved a bit in teamwork, it wasn't enough to pull out a win. As rain-soaked palm fronds sway gently in the breeze, tension settles over the tribe like a fog. With just 4 members left, each conversation suddenly feels like a potential game-changer. Chica and Muriel, quiet and observant, huddle together near the shelter. Though they exchanged few words, the bond between them is unshakable. Ever since Chica confided in Muriel about finding the hidden immunity idol, their alliance has deepened beyond simple trust, it's strategic solidarity. Muriel assures Chica she won't let her go home tonight, and the two begin subtly steering conversations to secure their position. Cosmo, meanwhile, is uncharacteristically anxious. Usually buoyant and carefree, he now bounces nervously between tribe members, trying to sense the tide. He approaches Mufasa early, attempting to make a pact, but Mufasa gives little away. The regal lion is a stoic presence in the tribe. His calm exterior makes it difficult to gauge his loyalty, but Cosmo is aware that Mufasa holds sway. He's respected, and his word might carry weight in a 2-2 deadlock scenario. Sensing uncertainty, Chica approaches Cosmo with a plan: vote Mufasa. She frames it as a necessary move before the merge, removing the physically strong, socially respected lion while they still have the numbers. She adds that Mufasa has seemed out of it the past few days. Cosmo hesitates. He's never liked betrayal, and voting out Mufasa feels wrong. Still, he nods and says he'll consider it, though his unease is clear. Elsewhere, Muriel plays her own social game. She takes time with Mufasa, preparing food and engaging in soft, sincere conversation. She reassures him that Chica's odd behavior is just stress, nothing more. Mufasa listens, as always, with dignity, but he is growing wary. He's noticed how close Muriel and Chica have become. If there's an alliance brewing, it's likely them. As the sun dips lower in the sky, Mufasa makes his move. He pulls Cosmo aside and gently floats the idea of voting for Chica. She's dangerous, he says. Unpredictable. If she's got an alliance going, she's not telling us. And it could hurt us down the line. Cosmo, now caught between 2 competing plans, feels completely out of his depth. Mufasa takes some time to sit by himself, the weight of the game getting to him. He isn't enjoying the scheming and sneaky conversations, but he didn't come here to go home early. Muriel approaches him, sensing something has changed. He pitches to Muriel that a good person should win, and that they should vote out Chica. Muriel takes a mental note, and nods, affirming Mufasa. As the 4 sit down together to cook a small dinner, roasted crab and some foraged greens, there's a heavy pause in the air. Muriel tells a soft story from her life in Nowhere, Kansas, filling the silence with something familiar. Mufasa listens patiently, while Cosmo forces a laugh trying to blend in. Chica barely blinks, eyes glowing dimly in the fading light. Privately, Chica and Muriel weigh the idol. Chica doesn't want to use it yet, not unless she's certain the votes are coming her way. They try to read Cosmo, but he's giving mixed signals. If he flips to Mufasa, Chica could be in real danger. Muriel gently encourages Chica to consider playing it, just to be safe, but the animatronic is torn. Burning the idol now would protect her, but it could also mean losing power too early. Cosmo, meanwhile, sits alone under a tree, drawing smiley faces in the sand with a stick. He hates the pressure. He wishes Wanda were here. He flips a small shell back and forth in his hand, muttering pros and cons like a nervous tick. On one side is loyalty to Muriel, who's always been kind. On the other, the logical strength of aligning with Mufasa, the strongest physical competitor left. As night approaches, each tribe member begins preparing for tribal council in their own way. Mufasa stares out at the ocean, regal and contemplative. Muriel folds a small bundle of dry leaves and tucks it near the fire, perhaps as a comfort ritual. Cosmo nervously sings a tune to himself, still undecided, knowing he could be the swing vote. And Chica just stood there, lost in mechanical thought, debating if she should use her idol tonight. Everyone walks toward tribal knowing the stakes, and each of them hoping the vote would go their way. The torches crackled against the night as the 4 remaining members of the Purple Tribe entered tribal council. The flamelight danced across the old stone walls, casting long shadows behind the remaining tribe members, each one moving with a different rhythm. Cosmo bounced awkwardly, his eyes shifting. Mufasa walked with quiet purpose, stoic and ready for the night to be over. Muriel shuffled gently, wondering what she may make for breakfast in the morning. And Chica? She glided, her mechanical limbs occasionally creaking. Jeff stood beside the fire pit, hands folded, waiting. "Welcome back to tribal council," he said sarcastically, breaking the silence as the tribe took their seats. Almost disappointedly, he continued, your third time here in just 6 days. That's not how anyone wants to start this game. No one responded immediately. The fire popped. Muriel, Jeff said, turning to her first. What's the mood in camp now? Muriel offered a small, thoughtful nod. Quiet, she replied. Tired, but also aware. Everyone knows there's no place to hide when you're only 4 people. Every vote matters now. Cosmo, Jeff continued, how are you handling the pressure? Cosmo grinned a little too wide. Oh, I'm great. Everything's fine. His eye twitched slightly. No pressure at all. I love voting. Big fan? Totally not panicking, Jeff chuckled. You sure about that? No, Cosmo admitted, deflating slightly. But I've got good friends. I hope. I think. Jeff turned to Mufasa. You've been to 3 tribal councils now. What's the lesson you've learned? Mufasa stared into the fire for a long moment before speaking. That being strong isn't enough. Strategy matters. Timing matters. But honor, that matters too. Do you feel confident tonight? I feel ready, Mufasa said simply. And Chica, Jeff said, voice leveling as he turned to her, you've been a mystery since day one. What are you basing your vote on tonight? Chica's red eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Her voice came out low and quiet, unusual, deliberate. Survival, she said. And data. Jeff raised an eyebrow but said nothing more. He looked around at the 4 of them. All right. It's time to vote. Each of the animated players stepped up to the voting booth one by one, their purple buffs reflecting in torchlight. After the 4 votes were cast, Jeff returned with the urn, placing it gently on its pedestal. He scanned their faces, Muriel's calm, Cosmo's fidgeting, Mufasa's stoic pride, and Chica's unreadable stillness. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, Jeff said, now would be the time to do so. There was silence. Chica did not move. Muriel glanced toward her, briefly. Cosmo swallowed. Mufasa's jaw set just slightly. Then Chica stood. Without a word, she reached into the folds of her frame and produced a small object, crudely disguised under layers of dried brush and cloth. The idol. Gasps echoed through the council. I'm playing this, she said, placing it firmly in Jeff's hand. On me. Jeff examined the idol, nodded, and held it high. This is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Chica will not count. Cosmo exhaled, stunned. Muriel smiled softly. Mufasa didn't move, but his eyes flickered. Jeff reached into the urn. First vote. He unfolded the parchment. Chica. Jeff placed it on the stack. Does not count. Second vote. Chica. Does not count. Cosmo shrank into his seat. Third vote. Mufasa. The fire crackled louder now. A cricket chirped. Mufasa stared ahead, unmoving. Fourth and final vote. Mufasa. Jeff paused, then looked up. That's 2 votes Mufasa, 2 votes for Chica, but both votes for Chica do not count. Mufasa, that's enough. You need to bring me your torch. Cosmo closed his eyes. Muriel's hands folded in her lap. Chica turned, slowly, to look at the lion she had just dethroned. Mufasa stood tall. He didn't argue. He didn't hesitate. He walked to Jeff, torch in paw. At the flame, he paused and turned to the tribe. Play well, he said. Be better than the game. Jeff snuffed the torch. Mufasa, the tribe has spoken. Fum. The flame died. Mufasa walked into the dark, his silhouette noble even in defeat. Jeff turned back to the remaining 3. Well, that was a power play. A hidden idol, a blindside, and a message. No one is safe. He nodded toward the path. Grab your torches. Head back to camp. As they left the council grounds, Muriel and Chica walked side by side, silent but strong. Cosmo followed behind, still trying to make sense of what had just happened. Only 3 remained on the purple tribe, and the game was far from over. The mood was heavy as the purple tribe returned to camp after tribal council. Mufasa's torch had just been snuffed, and the group of 3, only half of their original tribe, walked in silence through the darkened jungle. Half of their tribe had been taken out in just 6 days. Chica, still clutching the empty idol pouch, kept her guard up despite her relief. Muriel offered her a soft smile, reaffirming their alliance without words. Cosmo, visibly shaken, tried to break the tension with a joke, but it didn't quite land. While he had flipped to vote with Mufasa, Chica's idol play had blindsided him, and now he felt caught. Muriel gently encouraged them to rest, reminding them that the game would only get tougher. The trio settled under their shelter, damp from the previous day's rain, wary of what tomorrow might bring. Trust had been shaken, but for now, the 3 remained together, fractured, but still standing after a dramatic night.